Make sure I'm recording. Okay. All right. Well, hi. Welcome to Curriculum Night. We're just going to talk a little bit about what we learned in third grade. And then if you have any questions, just write them down and save them for the end and we can talk about them. All right. So in third grade, or today, we're going to learn about project-based learning, about our curriculum, and then our procedures and expectations, and then testing that happens in third grade. We'll have a little question and answer at the end. So this is a video from our Makerspace teacher, Mrs. Erb. Because we're a STEAM Academy, we are going to be doing project-based learning during our all block, which is during our reading time. So we're going to try to just incorporate different types of projects based on what we're learning and reading. So let me go ahead and play this for you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Erb, and I'm the
You hear that?
Makerspace teacher at Ray Farms. And I'm here to kick off our curriculum night with a STEAM challenge and a little bit of information about PBL, or problem-based learning. For our STEAM challenge, we're going to be doing a science experiment. So you might want to dress up in your science gear like I am, or you can come back to this video at a later time if you need to gather some materials. For our experiment, we're going to need some M&Ms, a bowl of any kind, and a glass of room temperature water. This experiment is brought to us by the Smithsonian 10-Minute Science Experiments book. All right. To get us started, you're going to need to place a few M&Ms in the bottom of your bowl. So I'm just going to sprinkle a couple M&Ms in my bowl, and I'm going to make sure that I space out my M&Ms so that they have about equal distance in between and that the M is facing up. So it's very important that the M is facing up and that they are spread apart. Very good. The next part of our experiment is we are going to be pouring the room temperature water over the candies. But before we pour our water, we're scientists. So we want to make a hypothesis where we predict or guess what we think might happen when we do that act. So let's think about pause. What do you think will happen to the M&Ms when we pour in the water? All right. You've got your prediction, your hypothesis in your head. Let's see if you're correct. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of my room temperature water, and I'm going to pour it in, and I'm going to make sure that I completely cover the candies evenly and that the M's are still facing up, covering my candies. Very good. Awesome. Awesome. And step 3 is we're just going to wait and observe the bowl over the next 10-20 minutes. So a good scientist observes, they take notes. So use this 10 to 20 minutes to observe what is happening and does it align with your hypothesis, and what can we learn from what's going on. All right, as we are waiting for our experiment, the 10 to 20 minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about PBL, or problem-based learning. So I'm going to go over why to do it, what it is, and how. So first of all, just to give you a little anecdotal reference, last year we did one of our problem-based units that we did was water around the world with third grade, and their focus was about answering a driving question related to that unit, water around the world. And with that, they came up with an end product of sponsoring a school in Africa to provide clean water. And we did that with a school-wide fundraiser, and they sent us this book that you can check out if you come visit our school office, that has the GPS coordinates of where the well is located, pictures of the students enjoying the water, and we're also going to hang up pictures of our well walk and fundraising and the whole project experience. So I love giving you this reference to what we're about to talk about so that you know, okay, that's what we did last year. And the kids really loved that. That was real life experience. They were collaborating. It was innovative, and they were helping others. So those are just some things about PBL. Let's dive into a little bit more. All right. So why do PBL? Here's a great quote from a book that we did as a book study as a staff. Why do PBL? Through academically rigorous projects, students acquire deep content knowledge while also mastering 21st century skills, knowing how to think critically, analyze information for reliability, collaborate with diverse colleagues, and solve problems creatively. So all of these skills are preparing our students for the future, making it worthwhile in our curriculum. All right, what is it? So in our book study, we looked in, this was just a point of reference for our teachers. And I'm going to let you look at this at your own pace. You can pause and break this down. But basically, the most important thing is we have a challenging problem or question driving our instruction and maintaining that student interest and that sustained inquiry throughout. You can see all of these pieces contribute to what it is, and students have some type of end product to an authentic audience at the end. Just like our well walk, we had an authentic fundraiser and a walk to commemorate at the end. That was their public product for their final showcase. How is it done? So again, this is from the book that we use as a book study. You can see all of the components that go into a successful PBL, a gold standard PBL. These are the things we're trying to achieve at Ray Farms. We're designing, we're planning, we're coaching, we're engaging, we're managing activities with your students. Everyone on here is on board with making this happen. And we're doing this in correlation with students' language arts units. So these are our launching points for our PBL units. So you can see for each grade level, kindergarten through 5th grade, the topics that they will be using. And we have a driving question related to these topics. And students will be starting very soon on addressing these. And work will be shared with you, pictures, videos, student work, as they move through their unit up to the point in November. So exciting things to come around these topics, similar to our Water Around the World unit, which again will happen for 3rd grade at the end of the year. So looking forward to great things happening here at Ray Farms related to problem-based learning. If you have more questions about problem-based learning, again, my name is Ashley Erb, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Feel free to reach out to me. All right, we're back to our science experiment. It hasn't been quite 10 to 20 minutes, so go ahead and you can come back to this. It's here. We're going to think about what do we observe, what do we notice. But I'm going to fast forward the clock a little bit. What happened with our experiment? Again, remember, you can pause and see this on your own so you get that authentic science experiment. But if you want to know, some parts of the M&Ms are water soluble, while other parts aren't. After a short time of soaking in the water, you begin to see the colored dyes from the M&Ms dissolve and mix together in the bowl. This lets you know the dyes are water soluble. However, the translucent shell and white M are not water soluble. That's why after 10 to 20 minutes, you witness this hard shell and M float in the water without breaking apart. I wonder if your hypothesis was correct. Stop by and tell me. Did you do the experiment? What did you find? Did you do it with another type of candy? Did it work? Extend your experiment, extend your research. Falcons, you got this. You are STEAM kiddos, and I want to hear what you did. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my name's Ashley Erb, and I appreciate you joining me tonight.
All right, so thanks for sitting through that video. But yes, last year it was really cool. Our PBL on water, and the kids really got a sense of like making a difference in the world. And it was cool. It was school wide. So you might remember if you guys donated any money or brought in pennies last year, but we reached our goal and exceeded it. So we got to get an even better well than what we had hoped for. So we'll look forward to doing that again this year, and we'll have other PBLs for all of our other modules too. Okay, let me see how to get out of this slide. Don't want to play this video again. Okay, there we go.
My name is Ashley Erb, and I'm the
Okay, so our 3rd grade curriculum is based on Caring Schools Community. So that's our social and emotional learning piece that we do in the mornings. And L Education, that is our curriculum for reading. Envision is our curriculum for math. And then we do CMS lessons in science and social studies. So the Caring School Communities is basically just a program that teaches students good manners and just good life skills about being fair, being empathetic, respectful, and responsible. So in the mornings, the students come in, they have morning work to do, and we always go over that, but we'll have a morning meeting to just kind of talk about social skills and share personal experiences around certain topics like responsibility or respect or perseverance. So that is what we do for Caring Schools. Our L Education is our reading curriculum. So it is new. I think it's been around for about 3 years, but it really makes students dive deep into complex texts and become better writers. So there's a whole lot of writing in this curriculum where students will write informational pieces, essays, and it all is based around what we're learning about. So each module, we have 4, each of them consists of 3 different units. So for example, we're in module 1 right now, which is overcoming learning challenges, and we just finished unit 1. And then we'll have a unit 2 and a unit 3 before we move on to a new module. So the last unit in each module, it has a performance task. So our performance task for this module is overcoming learning challenges, and students are going to create a bookmark that has their learning challenges that they have with reading, and then strategies to overcome those. But each module will have a performance task in the end, and these performance tasks are not formal grades, like it's a bookmark that they create. So the formal grades come more with end of unit assessments and mid unit assessments. But these are our modules, and these are some of our complex texts that we're reading. So right now we're in overcoming learning challenges near and far, and students are just learning about how it's a struggle for certain places in the world, kids in certain areas that are remote, to have access to books. So some of these books that we've already read are Waiting for the Biblioboro, Nazarene Secret School, Brain School, and we're on My Librarian is a Camel right now. After this unit, we'll move into module 2, and this is all about frogs and their physical and behavioral adaptations. And students will do a lot of writing in this unit to talk about those physical and behavioral adaptations. And then after that, we jump into Peter Pan and we explore literary classics. So we compare Peter Pan and Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. And then finally, the last module is Water Around the World, where students learn about how our Earth is one well and we all share the same water and why it's important to conserve it and take care of it. Okay, and then another piece of ELA is small groups and all block. So after the lesson in reading for module, we break into all block. And during this time, students are in like a 20-minute rotation. So they could be working on something that has to do with what we just learned in module, or they could be working on a different task like prefixes and suffixes, or they could be working with me. So this independent time is their time to read, write, respond to text, and learn new vocabulary. And then in math, we do the program Envision. So in this program, we always start with a solve and share, where students are given a problem, whether they've learned the concept or not, and they try to solve it using strategies that they know. And then we share that out and we talk about how to get to a solution. Then we do a guided practice and an independent practice. And then small group is kind of similar. Students are in rotations. They're either playing a math game with a friend based on what we've learned, working on independent work that is skill-based for them, or working with me in a small group on whatever topic we're learning or that they need practice on. So here are some of our math topics that we learn in 3rd grade. We just finished up multiplication and division, and using patterns and multiplication facts is something we're working on now. But throughout the course of the year, this is everything that we'll learn. If you want to take a look at that. In the end, we jump into fractions and time, and then adding and subtracting to step word problems. So lots of different topics here. And then for social studies, we have about 5 different topics that we learn about: culture, government, civics, history, geography, so like our regions in North Carolina, economics, and financial literacy. And in science, we're in our force and motion unit right now. No, we're in our matter unit right now. Next, we'll have force and motion. We learn about the Earth and the universe, Earth systems, energy, living organisms, and ecosystems. And then in third grade is the first time that students will get a real letter grade. So in K2, it's kind of like just letters that are like proficient, non-proficient. So they'll get their first A, Bs, and hopefully it will stay there. But we're on a 10-point grading scale. And this is a little video from our testing coordinator and our math facilitator on how to access your students' grades. Play it
Hello, Ray
for you real
Farms
quick.
families. I
Real
am
short.
Megan Meta, the Math and Science Facilitator here at Ray Farms, and I want to share with you some information about CMS's new district-wide grading plan for students in grades 3, 4, and 5. The purpose of this plan is to establish more equitable and consistent grading practices throughout the district. Here in the district, we believe that to the greatest extent possible, student grades should reflect their achievement of intended learning outcomes and mastery of content standards. And to this point, student assignments will fall under 3 categories. So the first category is prepare. Students are going to need a lot of opportunities to practice their new learning in a way that is low risk, because this allows for misconceptions to surface and allows their teachers to address these misconceptions to improve their learning. So assignments in this category might include pre-assessments or teacher checklists or other classwork, and these will not count towards a student's final grade in the class. The second category is rehearse, and these assignments are providing feedback on a student's learning leading up to the culminating assessment. So these assignments might be quizzes or components of performance tasks or exit tickets. So assignments in this category will count toward 30% of a student's grade in the class. The third category is perform, and assignments in this category are intended to assess a student's mastery of the content or the standard that has been taught. So these assignments might be topic assessments or end of unit assessments, performance tasks, or projects with rubrics, and these assignments will count towards 70% of a student's final grade in the class. So, with reteaching and reassessing, for students who do not show mastery on a perform task, additional practice and reteaching will be provided within 3 weeks of the initial assessment, and then students will then have the opportunity to be reassessed on the same content, and on that retest they can earn a score up to 100%. We also want to make sure that all of our learners have access to the content. So students with a 504 plan, an individualized education plan, or who are identified as English learners, they'll receive appropriate accommodations and amplifications on assignments and assessments to allow them to engage in the on-grade level content. So for more information, including on how many of each assignment you can expect each quarter, policies for late assignments, you can visit either the CMS website or the Ray Farms website, and you'll see this banner on both of the websites. You'll click on Parents, and you'll find more detailed information on the district grading policy, including a video created by district leaders, which you'll see that link here, and a link to a document with the information that I've shared here. So please reach out to your child's teacher if you have any questions at all. Thank you so much for your participation today and for the opportunity to work with your wonderful children. We are so happy to have them back in the building, and we are looking forward to a successful school year.
Okay, let me try to exit out of this one. All right. So, our class expectations, every day we go over these just in general. Make sure we're raising our hands, staying in our learning spots, using our equipment as intended. So we're on our Chromebooks, we're on certain websites that we're supposed to be, we're treating our library books nicely, all those good things. And then expectations overall, students need to be reading at least 30 minutes each night. We are a late start school and a late get out school. So as a school, we don't do homework. So we do ask that students are always reading though. And then Chromebooks and chargers. Originally, we're going to stay at school always, but now because students might get quarantined, we're going to have to start sending them home. So if we do send them home, we just ask that they get charged, and really students don't even need to be on them because they aren't going to be having any homework or anything like that. It would just kind of be in a worst case scenario if they had to stay home for an extended period of time. We're going to wait until all testing is done to start sending Chromebooks home. We've had COGAT this week, which is on their Chromebook. We have another day of it tomorrow, and then we start MAP testing, which will also be on their Chromebooks. So we'll probably send them home sometime in the beginning of October. And then Thursday folders come home with just important information or flyers, and then sometimes student work that's been graded. And then if your child is absent, if you'll just send me a note, I can get that note to the front office and they can get that excused if your child is sick or out for a certain reason. And then if you have a change in transportation, if you could just send in a note the morning of, or just call the office before 12. Sometimes parents will email me and I can't check my email during the school day unless it's like lunchtime or planning period, and then I won't see that their child is leaving early. So as long as you call the office or send in a note in the morning, we should be good to go. We have a CEO breakfast every month, and we earn things called Falcon Feathers. So you might have heard your children talk about this before, or your child may have already earned the chief example for others before, but that's just what CEO stands for. So each month, a student is honored with this title, and it's because they are just displaying really good leadership qualities and skills that others can look up to. So we already have one CEO this month for September, and that is Dave. So he gets to go to a CEO breakfast tomorrow. And this year they're in person. Last year they were virtual. So that's exciting. And then in special area classes, students earn Falcon Feathers. So if they do a wonderful job, if they're displaying our Falcon 4, then they earn those feathers. And we have been earning lots of them, which is really good. We get lots of compliments when I pick them up from specials, and they've already won one drawing. So each week, second grade and third grade feathers go together and they draw one winner, and we won. So they're going to have an extra 15 minutes of recess tomorrow. So that's something that students strive to get and to look forward to. Okay, this week we've been doing COGAT testing, which is just kind of a measure for PD classes. So let me see if I can show you this next thing. So usually kids take this test in second grade, but because we were virtual for a while last year, the students in third grade are having to take it to see if they will fall into being accepted into TD. So this is kind of just a flow of a timeline for the gifted screening process. MAP will also get administered this fall. So those tests are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then the TD teachers, they will take a look at these tests. And then if your child places, then they will communicate that with you. Okay, and we have been doing in-class testing as well. So a lot of testing. I feel bad sometimes for third graders because they are the most tested grade in elementary school. And then we added COGAT in, which is a whole extra test this year. So right now we've just been testing. But we just finished in-class today. But that is something that just kind of lets us hear how your child reads, so their fluency, if they can read nonsense words, so if they know their syllable sounds or their letter sounds, and if they know syllables when they're reading, and then just word fluency in general. So not quite sight words, but just common words, speaking, listening skills, all that goes into in-class. And MAP testing again is coming up. We will take 3 of those this year, and we just want to see growth each time. It just stands for measures of academic progress. So we just want to see the scores keep improving. This test will kind of bump kids up or down based on their level. Sometimes they'll see a second grade problem. And then if they keep answering questions correctly, they'll see a sixth grade math problem that they have never seen or learned or anything. So it just kind of places them right where they are. And it lets teachers know what they're ready to learn. Okay, and we already took our BOG this year, so that's our beginning of grade test, and it'll just be an indicator of where students need to grow by the end of the year. And we'll have our EOG. Those scores are the same. We want to see students score 3, 4, or 5 to pass that assessment in reading and math. And the BOG is only in reading. We don't do one in math. All right, so to access BOG score reports, you can see those right now in PowerSchool. An MP would mean not proficient, meaning your child did not score a 3, 4, or 5. And then I think at the end of the year, you'll be able to see EOG scores. It's always kind of iffy on how and when they send those out. All right, and then just other important websites for our school. Our PTA has a button on our webpage, and then you can get to our webpage from the CMS sites for Ray Farm STEAM Academy. And on there, you can learn about our school, our staff, and then any events that are coming up. Okay, so thank you for being my one attendee. Do you have any?
You're very welcome. I actually do. I'm gonna hog up all the time. So just like you're saying, there is so much testing in this grade level.